Hello everybody, welcome to Doug Bates' quick video from Better Results Personal Training, Ageless Personal Training, and Organic Vegan Trainer. This is a quick video discussing some aspects of the limbic system and emotional brain and even emotional triggering and emotional intelligence, and some really quick information on where to search to get some information to help you manage anything related to that. So I happen to be standing here again. People sometimes can get triggered by my plants. I happen to have Boston ferns and spider plants. What's with all the plants? Interesting, sometimes honest conversation. They are air filters, and it's good if you can be at a gym to have lots and lots of air filters. So keep in mind that research plants get air filters. The reason I'm making a video, by the way, is that sometimes the information that comes to me on a comment from a YouTube video or in some other fashion comes with a indication that the person might be emotionally triggered. And I don't think the person talking about the plants is emotionally triggered, they were curious. But the other day I had a video and I was talking about my radio podcasts that were done with some great interviewers, Doug Llewellyn and then Jim Masters on Up Close Radio. And that went really well. I had 4 episodes. You can look at those. I'll put one in the comments. And someone along the way, because I was describing things very rapidly, did clearly, to me in my mind, since I'm emotionally intelligent, indicate in a response that they were highly triggered, and they had a comment along the lines of, which is not too relevant, but, well, I guess I'll just, give up and quit then with all that. And it was a sideways remark, and they were even saying that somehow they were, here's the word, it's gaslighting, sorry they wasted their time. Which in a video, how can you waste your time? Go back and rewatch it. I don't think they watched the whole video. So that's why I'm giving this information, is I realize that if I'm trying to communicate to somebody and offer blessings and gifts and information, it's very possible that someone along the way, because of my tone or my gesturing, someone didn't, look at my gesture so much, I might be triggering them because somebody that they know was threatening with their hands as opposed to communicating with their hands, or it reminded me of someone, or reminded them of someone, I should say. If that's the case, it's really good to know that what you're really responding to is not necessarily my behavior or my gesture, but your own emotional response or emotional and memory reaction to that particular subject matter that I might bring up. Like if I say, I have adipose tissue, so I might be feeling frustration around adipose tissue. If I say strength, or I'm feeling young at turning 60 this year, that might trigger someone who's feeling old, or that is feeling they're struggling. That's normal. And it's normal to be triggered, it's normal to have emotions, and how do we deal with it? Because we're all going to have emotional response to things. If that emotional response, by the way, is triggering all the time, that's when we go, that's the hippocampal experience, and that's why I want to have this quick discussion. So as I tell you this information is gained over 35 years in the business with 52,000 one-on-one client hours. I even trained psychiatrists and many counselors in my life, and I'm training a psychiatrist now. So we talk all the time with these subjects. So I don't come to this with a background in sociology and a master's degree thinking I know everything. I come to it with actual knowledge from the trenches of what I've witnessed with clients and who I see succeed or struggle. And every day I see clients struggle. And that's okay, because that means I'm witnessing that, I can see it, and I can help them. And whether they struggle valiantly or successfully or less successfully isn't really the precise answer. It's more how well are they struggling, and are they able to engage where they're stuck. So it's not like they'd be perfect. We all have struggles and challenges. It's more like, how are they managing, and how well are they managing these things that are in their lives that are frustrating to them, or their workout, or their body, or whether it's coming along fast enough, or how are they facing their anxieties or fears or concepts even around aging or exercise, or around nutrition or diet production. These are highly emotionally charged subjects, and that's why, again, I'm going to give you the information and then tell you where to go look. So, not that I agree with everything this gentleman says, but one of the best places to look where they don't blame the person suffering is Dr. Daniel Amen. He's a brain researcher. And I've been following Dr. Daniel Amen off and on in various forms since 2005. So it's quite a while, 20 years. And not that I use all the information because I use spiritual sides. I use my own knowledge in somatic system to make decisions. But the knowledge about the brain that he provides, when he talks about the limbic system is the emotional brain. There's 5 components. I'll talk about the hypothalamus, the pituitary. Hypothalamus is the overseer, the observer. Pituitary is the middle manager, the thing that mets out where things go and relays information back and forth between the body and the hypothalamus. So it's a middle zone between hypothalamus and the rest of the body, and the rest of the limbic system. And then you've got here's the next one, hippocampus, the memory center. And the memory center has all of your stored associations and concepts and things like that. Hippocampus is very important. And you can grow or lose hippocampal cells throughout life. So you have to make sure the hippocampus stays healthy. If you're losing hippocampal cells, hippocampal volume, you are in trouble. Your brain will not continue to learn very easily, and you will maybe sometimes not be able to replace information in hippocampus. You don't want to have a brain that can't learn. You have a brain that is stuck with old information and can't be updated. That's brain neurotrophic factor, glial cell development, brain rinsing, all the things they talk about. And in order to learn, you have to be able to replace information or update information in the hippocampus. And you can go way back to childhood and early childhood trauma, adverse childhood experiences, whatever term you want to use. I like early childhood experiences, or ACEs, because then they're not charged words. Early childhood experiences, there's not no emotional charge about that. Versus early childhood trauma, nobody likes those terms. But sometimes it's accurate and helps you identify it, so you can use whatever term you like. Meanwhile, those are top 3 components of the limbic system. The other 2 would be the amygdala, which is the kind of reptilian or emotional brain. And that's a really important thing. The amygdala is a thing that we use if it goes right, it has a connection right to the gut. If your gut is out, your amygdala is always being triggered. So make sure your gut is working. Make sure your gut is, again, I say look out for any animal product because it will lead to a triggered emotional gut or a blocked emotional gut. Also, look at all the vagus nerve signals. But keep in mind, the vagus nerve takes a lot of work to upgrade. You cannot find an emotional answer to the amygdala very rapidly in terms of how it functions with the vagus nerve, because it usually takes a lot of resetting to get there. You can't do just like one time I'm all reset. You'd have to go back and really engage a process like I do with clients where you reset the entire organ gland system by fixing the spine, the posture, the diaphragm, the breathing, the blood flow to the brain. If the blood flow to your brain and the prefrontal section, the frontal parietal network, if they call it, the frontal parietal network is the FPN, the frontal parietal. You can look this up, Dr. Daniel Amen again. He'll describe these. And if these things are working well, you're much better off in making decisions, managing to see facts. But if the lower brain, let me go back. You think you have all information up in front of your brain, it does not solve it if your brain is only stuck in the somatic experiences, only stuck in the fear or the anxiety. And the amygdala is where that occurs. So our amygdala is part of our social brain. And it helps us if we're feeling anxiety, we're feeling threatened, if any of those things we're in, that's going to trigger the amygdala. So the more calm you are, the more confident, the more healthy your gut is, the stronger your spine is, pelvic floor, things that I work on, you can calm that area because you feel more foundationally balanced and healthy, and the information coming to you is more easily managed, and it's less of a threat, and you have more experience dealing with it. And if your hippocampus is well formed, you don't have weird associations that make you trigger. I say weird as a charged word. Unusual associations that don't serve you. I even say dysfunctional. Does that help? Not really. So anybody listening to this with emotional words are going to be like, oh, I don't like the word dysfunctional. If you like it, use it. If you don't like the word weird, don't use it. If you like the word atrocious, use that one, If you don't use it, don't use it if you don't like the word atrocious. But whatever words move you to taking action can be good. Eventually, you just get into dysfunctional or unusual. Then it's a neutral term. So find language that works for you. And in fact, that's one thing I want to talk about is language. But the next thing that goes on, besides, again, the hypothalamus, pituitary, right, hippocampal, and then hippocampus, and then the amygdala is the limbic system's cingulate gyrus. That's the big one. The cingulate gyrus is a gear shifter in a sense. It manages your emotion, your language choice, your communication, and it manages whether or not you are engaged even with motor control. It's involved in avoiding fear and pain. So it's highly gifted at helping you avoid fear and pain or negative consequences. The brain's involved with the, again, hypothalamus, pituitary. It's all linked together. And if you're imagining a negative outcome, you might choose behavior differently. So it's involved in assessment and trying to get the best outcome possible, avoiding problems. And again, problem avoidance, negative outcome avoidance. It's very important. So that's really, really good to know about, because the cingulate gyrus is something people don't know about, haven't heard about, and it can be triggered as a very low energy. I'll slow down for a second. If you have no affect, you have very little energy. It's called adidynia, or without hedonism, without joy, without pleasure. And if you have disaffection in that sense, I'll say disaffection, or excessive apathy, excessive almost depression, that's a probably low singular gyrus, low energy, low dopamine state in my opinion, and low neurotransmitter state. I've had videos on neurotransmitters before. We can look at that, but I won't get into the neurotransmitters now. It gets to be a lot of information. So we're covering these 5 limbic system issues again. So with that regards to that singular gyrus, one thing that Dr. Dunning will point out, and again, I'm not into fish omega-3s. I can cover the risks of fish omega-3s. Horrible idea in my opinion, for a lot of reasons. EPA, DHA fats, that one should not be preformed ever. It'll cause problems. It doesn't belong in the bloodstream. Getting a straight flax oil or vegan omega-3 fat is much better. There's many types. There's of course flax. There's of course hemp seed oil, and then there's of course chia seed oil or chia seeds. And you want to probably soak those seeds if you can use them, grind them, keep them fresh, etc., etc. There's also ahi flour. It's not ahi tuna, ahi flour. It's a flour. You can get a capsule from that. But those are the best ones. Walnuts does not provide a great deal of omega-3s, but there's some. I think omega-3s are incredibly important. I get tremendous doses. Again, I'm turning 60. Tremendous doses of omega-3 keeps my brain functional. And then making sure that I don't run too hot. I tend to talk really fast, but I make sure I get lots of downtime, and I can calm myself simply by relaxing and breathing. I don't need to move fast all the time. But I do find that choosing to be in an excited state is oftentimes useful for people engaging the content and for learning and for the projection that reaches people more easily, because the enunciation does drive points home. Doesn't get boring. Again, a boring lecturer you don't listen to in college. The person's excited, jumping around. You go, oh my God, that professor is so much fun. So I can talk for 25 minutes, you might not get bored. But if I slow down within 10 minutes, you're like, this guy even can get to the point. I would rather jump to the point, move fast, and repeat it than if I say it slowly once, because I think it has more impact. Anyhow, back to the conversation. Neurotransmitters are really important. And what he says about how to get the singular gyrus to function well. If you're having low singular gyrus, you need things that stimulate the body and get more norepinephrine, epinephrine, and dopamine. And if you have too much excessiveness at the other end, and your singular gyrus is too hot, and you're always aroused, always triggered, you're feeling almost violent, violence to yourself, violence, you're frustrated, you're out of control, you want to just start smashing things, controlling things. That's a crazy singular gyrus. Lots of energy, you're just angry, you want to crash things around, throwing things, breaking things, and that happens. Not with me, luckily. If I get some, oh, that was horrible. But I've been there where I'm almost in my past, what do I do with all this energy? If you have low serotonin, you can't find the calm. And especially if you have low GABA, you can't find the calm. I luckily have figured out how to have an abundance of neurotransmitters in my body that help me find calm. Serotonin, GABA, oxytocin, very useful, very good at calm. And so my diet helps me do that. I haven't had a vegan diet for 8 years now, and it doesn't get in the way of my muscle mass, as you can see. That's pretty good, pretty good. For a natural drug-free guy, no creams, no testosterone patches, no testosterone replacement therapy, no TRT, all that stuff, lifetime. So when I'm giving advice, keep in mind that it's just my N of 1, my experience. But I have 50,001 one-on-one client hours, which indicates that I have experience watching other people succeed or not, and finding every body type and every type of background, even with extreme disease diagnoses. I've mentioned MS, lateral sclerosis, Parkinson's. I get results where they get better, which confounds them because they were told they can't. Confounds them because they go, what does that mean? I go, well, that means that you don't really have a syndrome of symptoms. It's a syndrome of symptoms. If you remove them, you no longer have the disease, right? So if you get rid of all the symptoms, you reverse the path of the disease. It's because I went back to the root level and said, what's causing the disease? A weak immune system, mostly. What's the weak immune system caused by? Toxin, presence of toxin, heavy metals, damage you got into the body somehow, virus, mold, gut microbiome issue. Is your diet causing it? Is there some factor that you're exposed to within your map field or something that's triggering you? Too much blue light, perhaps, not enough sleep, combination of factors. Trauma to the brain from a blunt impact. I had a blunt impact trauma in college. I got hit by a parking gate, knocked unconscious. I went to school when they woke me up and said, hey, what happened? I just went to my class. I went, oh, I should go to my class. I guess I was knocked unconscious. Got all my stuff. Nothing was missing from my book bag. So I carried it to my class, went to class, and 11 years later, because I was having a difficult time, I went to a chiropractor and he said, yeah, you got some trauma. What happened? Did you have a cervical injury? He says, well, no, not really. He's never played football. No. He says, oh, wait, I got hit by a parking gate once I was in college. And he says, well, you got a dilated pupil. He says, on one side. He says, well, I've always got a tight neck. It's never really been good. He says, since when? I said, since college. He says, that's like 11 years. I said, yeah, I've always been hyperactive. I could never calm down. I could never do what I'm doing now. For 11 years, I couldn't calm down. I was always in an arousal state, chronically, for 11 years. From like 21 to 33, or 35, whatever it was. 21 to 33. So 12 years, but long time. And he adjusted over the course of 3 visits my neck, and I could get normal, what they call Ragland's test, which is a parasympathetic dominance test. It means that my parasympathetic nervous system was finally calm and breathing and relaxed for the first time in 11 years. So if you think that you have a problem and you think it's just your personality, look out. It might not be your personality. It might be real trauma that occurred from an injury to a temporal lobe or to a cervical, or just a subluxation that's taking place, or a toxin, or an old trauma that you didn't work through that you're repressing, or even fear and anxiety that you're facing every day at work or at home, or you're about to be, let's pretend you're going to be tossed out of a job or tossed out of something, or a relationship and you have trauma or stress around that, or you're not sure where you stand in regards to something that is really important to you and it feels like a threat to your anxiety realm of your lower lung, or your knocks you on your pelvic floor, or takes you out of your gut. Those are really, really important areas that you have to have support in to survive those somatic concerns that will leave you vulnerable if you don't get them addressed. So the reason I'm telling you this is because you can go to Dr. Daniel Amen, who's a pretty good researcher. Now, he's not a jock. He doesn't have the same experience I have with people in the gym. He has people come to him with problems already. I have normal people come to me, and I've had clients who've gone to Dr. Daniel Amen, and they like the experience. So I'm not recommending him. I'm not espousing that he has all the answers. I'm just saying he has good descriptions, and he doesn't blame the victim. He's extremely good at that. So I'm not here to say you have a problem. I'm here to say, oh, I noticed this, I witnessed this. Is that something that would be useful for you to have me point out? Is it something you want to work on? I think it could be beneficial to you if you work on it. So if we can become more emotionally intelligent, see what the organs and glands do in relation to triggering our limbic system, see what our own experiences do, or our memories do with relation to trigger our limbic system. I'm looking at limbic system, Limbic, Limbic. I should have spelled that earlier. And if we become good at managing to see what that looks like, we take ourselves a bit into context and say, that's not just me, that's my body's response. It's my brain's response. It's my patterned response. My current response right now, given the nutrition I have. And if you can get more blood flow to your brain, and he mentions like ginkgo, you can get vinposta, you can get more blueberries in your diet. He says the answer is if you have low GABA and low serotonin, eat more carbs. And I'm like, carb eating, carb eating, manage your blood sugar. And some amount of carbs might be useful, but you might like not find carbs are the answer for you for serotonin. I like to get better breathing. And I don't know anybody who works better than I do at getting someone's respiratory diaphragmatic function back and getting blood flow to their brain and making sure the face stays young and beautiful posturally and with all the gut health and all the energy radiating up into the areas of the body and brain that you need to be breathing and be alert and have lots and lots of affect in the eyes and the face. Those are nerves that make you make facial expressions. And so in your ventral vagal, that's the vagus nerve again, and there's dorsal vagal, which is the posterior dorsal fin, dorsal posterior. That is back. That is parasympathetic dominance. That is relaxed. It's recovery, healing, rest, digest, repair, restore. Front is ventral vagal. If you're in a conversation, you can't get going and you feel it's not really, you might be doing it on purpose, that might be functional, waving to people. There's a window right behind this phone, so I'm waving, everybody walks by. I've had 12 people walk by already, and they know I'm making video. But what's happening is, if you're dorsal vagal and you're like this and you can't get going, you might not have enough energy to go ventral vagal. You might need more sleep, might need more strengthening, more whatever. But if you're ventral vagal anytime you want to be, and you just feel great, like an MMA guy, you know, mixed martial arts. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Doug? They all say to me, because they're so strong, they have strength to fight with they're having fun fighting. Think about it. That's a strong person. So I run across people and they're strong ventral vagal, and they're very outgoing and they're very confident. And if you want to get ventral vagal, you have a public speaking, you're a public speaker, or you're a boss, you're able to manage ventral vagal with dorsal vagal and manage your tone when you're talking to employees, co-workers, clients, or what they would call, I guess you'd say, people that come shop, you know, customers as we call them. Customers, what a weird term. Even clients, what a weird term. People you deal with. If you want to manage your tone, become really good at it, you might need a trainer who can help you develop dynamism and latitude and breadth and height and things like that, so your tonality is on point. Perfect? I don't know. I don't know who you are, so I wouldn't know in a sense whether to speed up or slow down. I can't tell if I'm losing you because there's no one on the other end I can see. If I was talking one-on-one, I'd be addressing and adjusting all my tones, making sure there's a two-way conversation. Make sure I was hearing you and that you were able to make sense of what I said by me gathering data from you to make sure I was making sense to you, and that you were able to repeat back to me some of the things I said, and that it made sense to you and that it was real for you, and that I could provide it in whatever context you wanted, that it was digestible. You think you come in and I just yell at you all the time like this. That's not what I do. It's a technique I can use with people, and my clients enjoy that. Oh, please go off, Doug. It's so much fun watching you just run around and provide all kinds of high energy ideas. Most of my clients like that. A lot of my clients, though, I leave them alone. I let them train. I watch them, and I occasionally offer a quiet bit of advice. Say, yeah, how's that going? You might want to try this. And they work out on their own. They're their own coaches when they come here. I want clients who are their own coaches. They're emotionally intelligent enough to do their own work. Because I see them struggle, and they're getting frustrated. Like, getting frustrated? Is anything going on? Yeah, I had this. Okay, what's going on? I have this pain here. Oh, you can also. Well, I didn't want to tell you. Good for them for not telling me up front they have a pain somewhere. They want to see if they can get rid of it on their own. How bold, how courageous are my clients to want to get rid of their pain on their own and not to come in limping and going, oh, I got a pain money. They come in and they go, yeah, the pain money, I thought I'd get rid of it, but it hasn't gone away yet. Any ideas? I'm like, where's it coming from? And I say, we assess their anatomy, and that's what I mean. Their limbic system didn't make them come in and go, I'm so angry, I have this pain in my knee. They come in and they go, no issue, I'm to come in, train. Get rid of the pain in my knee. Get rid of the pain. And they come in because they'd shoveled weird, or they'd slept funny, or they'd had something go on that threw them off. Most of my clients, I mean, this happens so seldom because my clients are pretty healthy and we have such great protocols. But anybody can come in with anything in their neck or their shoulder or their knee or ankle, whatever, that could show up from anything. So when they come in, or if they were gone on vacation for a week or two, or a month or two, as some clients sometimes do, it's like, there's going to be some stuff when they come back and they've been gone for a month. Otherwise, how important is your workout if you come back and you're perfect all the time? That would mean, wow, you really figured it out, because your body lasts a month without working out. Good for you. That doesn't happen to most people. Okay, so I'm going to end the video very soon here. I wanted to say thank you for tuning in. Again, if anybody's ever felt offended, you could offer apologies, but just know that what you're really looking at is, as opposed to an apology from me, say that, in a sense, it's a tell to you, and I can apologize when I did something wrong, but it's a tell to you that you might have an emotional reaction. It's normal to have emotional reactions to everything. You might not agree with everything I say, it's emotional, but if you can't sleep, if it bothers you, if you're looping in a cycle of anger or frustration, sometimes looping is really useful to figure things out. But if you can't get rid of it and you have other things to do, you must find a way to break that loop, and that's a stuck single gyrus. Again, that means more blood flow to the front of the brain, rosemary, again, blueberries, ginkgo, things increase blood flow to the front of the brain. And that's diaphragm, circulation in general, really what you could try ginger, things for the gut, microbiome stuff. You can use, they recommend, he says tryptophan. I'm like, tryptophan, GABA, that can calm you down, but now it's okay to rely on amino acids. It works great. I have amino acids I use all the time. But when using amino acids all the time, it's literally very effective. So effective, it's almost like medication, which is fine. It's only amino acids. You can't hurt yourself much. But you probably can't hurt yourself at all. But it's good to be able to use nutrition at a base level and let your body sort that out. So I think my phone will cut off soon, so I'm gonna hang up. Again, I've got Better Results Personal Training, Ageless Personal Training, Organic Vegan Trainer. I've got on Facebook Ageless Fitness Institute and Organic Vegan Trainer on Facebook. And I've got on Facebook Better Results Personal Training. I've also got the Chakra Guru, if you can get some wild stuff, the Chakra Guru, G-U-R-U, the Chakra Guru. Chakras, C-H-A-K-R-A, Chakra Guru. Because most people have no idea what chakras are and don't understand the whole spiritual potentials that are available. But you don't need to start there unless you really want to go deep dive. And then I've got the website coming up. I've got the podcast. And I mentioned at the end of this video here that I've also got a brand new visual TV program apparently coming out here with Bold Brave TV. It'll be once a month, starting somewhere around April probably. And it'll be once a month, let me say once a month, once a week, a 1 hour visual podcast where I'll be providing information like this, probably in greater detail. I can talk for half an hour here, just ad lib. There I'll probably take my time, point to actual resources for you to use, again, just besides Dr. Daniel Amen, which is A-M-E-N, Dr. Daniel A-M-E-N, Amen, and actual resources, and then maybe point to a study or two, take some time, discuss it, and at that point, I will probably begin having more people emailing or leaving comments to things, which is fine, and I can respond to some of those. I don't know how much time I'll have, but I'll do my best. So thank you for listening. It's been really positive having people view what I have for content. It gives me feedback. If they want to give me feedback, they're welcome to it. You don't have to. I expect somebody just literally like, what's that trainer talk about? I'm a trainer too. What's he doing? Oh my God, I should borrow this. That's fine. That's wisdom. If a trainer who's only in business for 3 to 5 or 10 or 15 years is not borrowing from me, that would probably be a mistake. I've trained a lot of trainers. And if they're skipping this knowledge, or if there's a psychiatrist skipping this knowledge, the psychiatrists even come in, they don't know how to train. They don't know, they're not trained in fitness, and they do not have the background I have, where I've spent with other psychiatrists learning on the fly here in the trenches and working with their body, and then figuring out how they can do it. Again, they have patients. That means people that they're burdened by at some level, right? They have to work with. It can be a burden for them. It's not an easy job. So they come in, they have to then clear that energy and then still make time for themselves. It's not easy being professional. It's not easy being in the service industry, the helping industry. It doesn't matter if you're a police officer, if you're a firefighter, there are risks involved in your job or loads involved in your job. We'll call them loads. And those loads exist. And the better you can clear your loads, the better. So if you're involved in whatever your work, retail work or running a business, if you can afford me, you might want to hire me. If you can't afford me, you get the information for free. And I recommend you use it because it's valuable information. So again, thank you for listening. You got my websites. Again, Doug Bates, Better Results Personal Training. You know the other names. And looking forward to, if you want to leave feedback, great. If not, there'll be better videos on this in the future. Better know, more detailed, more deeper dives in some areas. And watch some of the stuff if you want to on the radio podcast until the TV podcasts come out. And again, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much. Signing off. I got a client coming in about 5 minutes. Bye-bye now.